Andrew Plitt here with andrewplitt.com. In this video, we are continuing to look at the basics and the foundational principles of Standing Post Qigong. If you have any questions about previous videos and what we're talking about in this video, please put them in the comments below. Also, please share what your experience is with Standing Post Qigong. I would love to hear the sorts of experiences you've had while practicing, and also how many years you've been practicing, or if you're new to Standing Post Qigong. In the last video, we were discussing the expansion up through the spine and the sinking down in the front of the body. In this video, what we're going to be discussing is kind of an extension of what we talked about in the previous video. Right now, we're just going to focus kind of on the neck and the skull and kind of what's going on with that as far as this expansion through the spine is concerned. And if you're doing the expansion through the spine correctly, what we're going to be talking about in this video should basically be already happening, but we want to spend some time focusing on it to make sure that it is happening in your practice. And what that is expanding the neck and drawing the chin in. So basically, instead of expanding the neck and doing this sort of a thing, you want to bring your alignment so that it's aligned directly with the spine rather than pulling forward. So you tuck the chin. You can just take your finger and push on the chin and bring it back so that your spine is directly aligned. You have that upward intention. It's almost like there's a little bit of a forward tilt with the skull, and that goes completely hand in hand with what we were talking about of expansion to the spine, drop down with the front. You don't want to do this with it. You're not looking down, but you are drawing the chin in and sending that expansion up through the top of the head. And so the top of the head, if you follow the ears up to where they meet on the top of the head here, that's pretty much right there, a little bit behind. In this general area is where you're thinking of pushing up through the spine. So it's like that energy is going up the spine and it's hitting the skull and pushing up right there. And with the chin tucking in, this brings us to another aspect of your training. So when you're doing Taiji or when you're doing Qigong, you want to touch the tip of your tongue against the roof of your mouth. Now that's believed to connect two different meridians. You have your governing vessel going up the back of the body, and you have your conception vessel coming down the front of the body. So those are two different meridians, and there's a gap there in your mouth where these meridians aren't connected. And so the idea is pushing the tongue up against the roof of the mouth to kind of right behind the front teeth, just to connect those two meridians. Now, even if you don't believe in energy or chi or any of that, there's another reason for this. It's also just straight practical structural reason for doing this. And what that is if you push back here and you leave your tongue kind of sitting at the back of your mouth or sitting where it normally would sit, when you push back here, you'll find that it kind of gets a little bit in the way of your pharynx, and the airflow can cause a little bit more turbulence if the tongue's just sitting back. If you push the tongue forward and up, it clears that area, so you have less turbulence as you're breathing. And so pushing the tongue up and forward allows you to bring the head back without having the sort of like back in the back of the throat. You bring the tongue forward and it opens that up. So you don't need to push your head back to where you're like really bunched up. That again is adding tension, and it's not what we're after here. What we're after is the elongating of the spine and just tucking the chin back a little bit. But even with just that slight tuck back of the chin, bringing the tongue forward still decreases the turbulence that's happening in your pharynx as you're breathing through your nose. And that brings us to one more aspect of Standing Post Qigong that I'm going to mention in this video as well. So the main focus of this video, of course, is that tuck of the chin, that expansion up through the top of the head here, and that structure that's created here. The bonus is bringing the tongue forward to decrease the turbulence of the airflow in the pharynx as you're breathing. And the next thing that you want to do that goes along with decreasing that turbulence is check in with your breath. You don't want to be making sounds as you're breathing. It's like kind of stuff. It's described as like a silk thread moving in and out. It should be completely smooth, completely turbulence-free, completely quiet. As you breathe in, it's like silk sliding in. As you breathe out, it's like silk sliding out. So there shouldn't be friction, there shouldn't be turbulence, there shouldn't be noise. It should be very calm, relaxed breathing in and breathing out as you're practicing. And part of the reason for that is teaching you to breathe in a very efficient way. The more turbulence and the more tension, the more noise that you're making as you're breathing, the less efficiently your air is going to be moving in and out of the lungs. So you want to train yourself to breathe in a way that is very efficient, that allows you to get the air in and get the air out with minimal interference. And so this is kind of helping bring your awareness to how you're breathing and allowing you to learn how to breathe in a way that's going to allow you to breathe most effectively. That's all I'm going to talk about in this video today. The main thing to focus on when you're doing your next step for training. So everything else is second nature. Now we're focusing on tucking the chin and the expansion up through the top of the head, not adding tension in the neck, just expansion. And while you're doing that, tuck your tongue up against the roof of your mouth to allow for more free flowing of air, less turbulence as you're breathing. And as you're doing that, check in with your breathing. Are you hearing your breathing? Are you making noise as you're breathing? Try to relax your airways and open the airways so that as you breathe in, it's smooth. As you breathe out, it's smooth, and you're not making noise as you do that. And that is your homework going forward, to incorporate those aspects into your standing post training. Make sure that all of that is second nature to you before moving on to the next video in this series. If you have any questions, again, about what we talked about today, please put them in the comments below. If you did enjoy this video, if you learned something from it, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and also become a supporting member of this channel to help ensure that more videos like this will be made available in the future. Stay safe and healthy out there, and as always, thank you for watching.